Well, you reminded me.
You remind me of
that I
shouldn't have started that.
Oh, I tried to go deep there. I see what you mean. And then you were talking about breath. It made me think of who was it? Jordan Sparks. How to feel no air.
And we're on air, everybody.
Hey,
What's up?
What's up, y'all?
How you doing? It's your girl Triple F Queen B Bola in his house.
No time.
Or her house, because we're at Whitney's house.
Hey, it's God's house too. So
Amen. His house. Is that what that means?
I don't know. I was just playing off of what you said.
I thought his house was just like hizzle for shizzle, you know?
That's what I think. But I was just.
It's God's house too. Amen. Amen. Go ahead with your opening.
No tagline with this here.
Why you say it like that? Y'all know we be just chatting it up. Y'all always find us in medias res. We're always in the middle of some kind of conversation about something. Anyway, hey everybody, it's our second episode of the month in February. I can't believe it's almost over.
It is.
By the time y'all listen to this,
I
it's
hope
really
y'all
gonna be
have
almost
had
over.
a wonderful Black History Month and a happy
yes.
Valentine's Day.
I hope you all, receive love.
Mm-hmm.
And it also hope you enjoyed our last episode on You People.
Mm-hmm.
And if y'all watched the film and were disappointed, it's not our fault.
Oh, goodness.
Girl, I didn't watch and listen to so many things about that movie afterwards. Apparently, it was watched by a lot of people and disliked by a lot of people. A lot of people were reviewing it. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things I was just like, you people was getting bad score. And it was so weird because I had heard, people were saying they liked it, but then
My brother was like, I asked my brother had watched it, and I was like, oh, how is it? He was like, it's okay.
yeah, see, that's it.
And I was like, oh, because at first I wasn't going to watch it until you suggested we review it because, he didn't say it was bad, but he was like, it's okay.
Mm-hmm. I thought the trailer looked amazing, but man, I listened to the podcast, Black Man Can't Jump in Hollywood, on my way home on the drive from DC, and man, they tore that film up. Like some of them, because there's 3 black guys that are in Hollywood, and some of them were like trying to find the good things, but most of them like illuminated like a lot of the problems of that film. And it was like
what?
real. You need to listen to the pod because he was saying some stuff, and I was like, you know what? He's right, actually. He actually was able to, I love when people were able to like vocalize or verbalize. Let me say verbalize.
Yeah.
Because vocalize just has to do with sound. Verbalize in words that you can understand what was wrong with that film. I wanted to say more even because I was like, there was so much I was not. And then they gave me the verbiage actually. And I was like, when I heard what they were saying, I was like, this is exactly it. I was like, this is exactly it. Like one of the things just one thing that they were saying when they were like, the film was trying to do social commentary and rom-com and at the same time, and it was like they were not hitting it, both of them at the same time. It's like they were like, you either need to be social commentary or you need to be rom-com because the way they did it didn't flow well. So it was like each
I
part
kind of
was...
disagree with that. I disagree that you can't do both at the same time. I don't disagree that maybe they didn't. Okay.
He was talking about in this film.
Gotcha.
That it wasn't done well. Because
okay.
you can do it. But he was saying that this film, the way they did it, it should have been like, they should have focused on one because the way they were doing it didn't work.
You know what? I'm glad you said that that's how he
verbalized.
No,
I got that from. Did you ever watch Did you ever know about the Taibo movement? The Taibo.
Oh my God, my mom had like the Taibo VHS tapes.
I was doing them back in the day, man.
She had the 8 hour. Not the 8 hour. The 8 minute one.
I had all 4 of the colors.
The first time I ever did it, I was wiped out.
Right, every time. But I
had my face on the couch pillows, just kind of like
I'm punching
weakly
guys.
kicking my leg out because
visualize. Because he used to have all that 80s nonsense, and he was on the, come on guys, go visualize, visualize. That's where I got it from. Anyway, but
throwback,
today, right? Throwback, but I recommend listening to that pod because at least, and then my sister sent me some other females.
But that's I like what you said about that. That is interesting. Well. I think when you said about the chemistry and stuff and things like that, I was like, you know what? I see that as what was not
Yes.
quite hitting.
Other people got it too. They were like, these two are not in love. It's like, they're like, you don't buy that they're in love. They're like, and they pointed out so many things that I didn't even like look at. And I was like, yeah, that's right. There was so many it was just very underdeveloped. Like, so yeah, but that's why I like to listen to other pods about movies that like once we do one, and I like to listen to what other people say about it, so I can be like, nah, I don't see that, or oh wow, I didn't see that, or I wish I did, or I wish I mentioned it to you guys. Hey, but yeah, so
Well, check it out, you guys.
We'll throw it
in the show notes.
Not the best choice for Valentine's or Black History Month. My bad, y'all.
Hey, we took a look at something new. It was new,
right? We took a chance.
It was supposed to be a love and I mean, it was
supposed to be a little bit of both. It was actually.
It was. It just like as a
failed.
Movie, it wasn't as successful as it could have been.
Yeah.
And we're not all everything we review.
Doesn't have to be good.
Exactly. And in fact, I think it's sometimes better when we find stuff that's not good because we have more to talk about. Because when something's like really great, like what can you say about it except for it was great?
I was being nice. I really wanted to give the movie a 4.
Oh, damn.
I really did. I was
damn.
Just, I was
Why
like,
didn't
there was
you?
so much I didn't like about the film. And I didn't know what I wanted to say because I was looking at the things that I did like. And I was like, they don't outweigh the things that I disliked about the film.
Anyway, you feel free to give it a 4 if you think it deserves a 4.
I was trying to up it, like, because of the discussion points and the things that I did pick out. And, also the movie was shot, like the shots were really nice.
It was.
The artistry of it was actually, really the clothes was nice. So
cinematography and everything.
I gave points for that. But when it comes down to things, my main thing is story and characterization, and I was not pleased with any of it. So I'm going to have to rescind my 5.5 and just go with a 4. Yeah, it's not a good watch. And I couldn't like it on Netflix. Because at least a movie that I think is really good, I have to like it on there. Flick the thing or like double like it with the two.
Yeah, I like that.
But to love it.
It's so it's become difficult for me with this new system. Well, new-ish system with the like, double like, or dislike. Because sometimes you're like, it was okay. I wouldn't necessarily thumbs down it. But I wouldn't give it a thumbs up, so I'm just not going to do anything.
That's what I do. That's exactly what I do. If I watch the it gets my watch ratings or views or however they, do the metrics for that. So it gets some ratings that way, but it's like I refuse to like it or dislike it. It's just
it's meh.
It was a watch. It was a watch. That's all. It watched. I don't know.
Oh, that sounds creepy now.
I know. It watched. It was a watch. I don't know. And no, that sounds like something cool. Like, a watch should be something you watch like that.
But you say it watched. Like it's watching you. I'm like, that sounds like horror movie.
Now it's going in another level that I don't even know. Let's just get off of it. Anyway, today's episode is on something totally different.
Oh, yeah, shoot. We're wild and we haven't even said what we're doing today.
Oh, yeah. Anyway,
sorry, y'all.
So today's episode is on, I'm so happy because we finally get started. I mean,
Phase 5.
Yes, we get to get started on Marvel. You guys know I'm the Marvel girl. Well, I love Marvel movies.
I'm a Marvel girl too.
As knowledgeable
if we're saying Marvel versus DC, I have always been a Marvel girl.
I agree.
Always.
Although I do love The Flash. The Flash started again, and I haven't watched it.
If I think back in the day when I first started getting into stuff, now Batman the animated series, fire. But it's hard for me to think of as many DC properties
but it was all the Superman stuff. To be honest with you,
I wasn't that big on the Superman cartoon.
To be honest with you, before X-Men came out, if you look at all the superhero films, they were always just the DC films, and you liked them. You liked the
Michael
Supermans. All the Supermans from that time have been good. All the Batmans from that time had been good. The previous ones, right?
Yeah.
But after X-Men came out, then it was like Marvel was like, let's get it. You know what I mean?
We are going to wipe the floor with you, DC, and they did. And they
came up. They're like,
I mean, with the exception of like the Dark Knight trilogy is great.
It is.
But with the exception of that, they've been wiping the floor.
Batman. I didn't watch the Batman.
Oh my god!
It's good.
Why? Ooh, Lord have mercy! Why did you tell me that, girl?
I did not watch the Batman because
you
I was done
should.
with Batman.
It's so good.
I'm like over Batman.
I've seen so many Batmans, and it's so good.
Anyway,
we gonna have to watch the Batman.
Anyway, y'all. So we getting into Marvel, right? This is finally. We getting right back into the story. Where we left off.
We're doing Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, you guys. Sorry, we kept going. We kept deviating. That's what we were talking about.
I had to get us back on track.
Yeah,
we're talking about Quantumania.
Quantumania.
Or Kangmania. The tasty Anyway, listen. Let me calm down.
Jonathan Majors is everywhere.
Yo, all I have to say was that he was using them Creed moves on Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah, he was dead. I was like, dang.
He was like...
Scott was getting his butt whooped.
I was like, yo, Ant-Man is suffering. Like,
he was in there like Mortal Kombat fatality.
I was like, Paul Rudd, are you okay? I was like, just Jonathan's arm alone was
when the costume got ripped and it was just bicep, I'm like, y'all wrong for that.
Yes, I was just like,
this is bicep.
I was like, damn. Woo, that was hot. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. But before we get into I could talk about Jonathan Majors all day for some reason.
He's really talented.
Let us count the ways. Like, his facial expressions alone in this film, I'll just be like, contort your face another way again. I saw that little thug tear you had coming down. Yo, anyway. I'm going to watch Creed 3. just of him. All right, let's go back.
What you blurring out about, girl?
Let's blur it out, everybody. Blur it out. Blur it out. Blur it out. Blur it out. All right.
Hit us, girl.
I'm blurting out. Actually, let's take it back to Black History Month.
Okay.
And I forgot to add this last time. So, during Black History Month, I actually do like to do things that are like, I just like to do something.
Bliggity black stuff? Bliggity black stuff?
Okay. We're going to call it that. I do like to do something that's inspired, or at least I always end up doing something art related, but a museum visit or something. But I like to do things, or at least catch things or read things that's like significant or timely about this time, whether it's uplifting the black folks or not.
Okay.
Well, mostly it does, because I don't do nothing.
We don't need no more black trauma.
Yes, no more trauma in my life. Anyway. Don't do stuff that doesn't uplift the black, okay? So I was happy that my favorite place in Richmond, the VMFA, Fine Arts Museum, always has some extra interesting exhibits that are aside from their main special exhibit that you need a ticket for. So I did go to that one too, which was Stories Strings, which was actually very lovely. I loved it because it was about art and guitars. Okay. And they had it where they had like a little part of the exhibit where we could take down a guitar, like real guitar, and play. And then they had like little teaching palettes. I don't know what to call them. They had like these little pillars raised, and they had pasted like how to play different riffs and stuff. It was just like learn how to play guitar. It was like you could sit there and just do that.
That's pretty cool.
I love a hands-on exhibit. Okay, let me just get it straight. And the guitars look cool. So, but I also love they had a segment in there for black guitars, black art in guitars, and I liked that. But the main exhibits that I did see were actually Black History related. One was and I'm going to make TikToks of these guys so you guys will see them so you know what I'm talking about. But one was called Three Men Weeping. And it was like a video. It was like a one room. You go into this room on the second floor. And it was like a one room video. Both of these I'm going to talk about are video projects. And it was like these three big pillars. The room was like big screens, right? Literally it was like the whole, whatever that room was, the pillars of the video was just like the whole size of the room. The one wall. It was like from top to bottom. It was big. And you just look and see this video, these three black men, and it was like they were crying. But they were also like undressing at the same time. But it was in reverse. So it was like they were dressing, and then the tears were like going up, and then as the video, it's like they had gone from weeping naked to the tears were seeding and fully clothed. But they did it in reverse. So you were looking at it in reverse, and it was to signify I believe that how black men, especially going into the world, how they dress themselves up and all their gloriousness and all their awesomeness and everything. But then when they come home inside, like dealing with all those issues and things that they deal with in the world. And then it was very, like, just watching it was very moving to me that they had done something like this. Because I was like, yeah, this makes sense. And it was like just these 3 black dudes. They were all wearing different outfits and different looks. And you could see their bare chest. You could see their tears. You could see and then all of a sudden, like, you could see the backwards movement of them putting things on. All the shirt, the sunglasses, the jewels, everything. And they had the outfits were so, like, bright and vibrant. And inspired. They kind of remind me of Kehinde Wiley stuff.
Okay.
And they just had the glitz and glam of black people. Like, they had the scars, they had the glasses, they had the shine. But it was just like, all that's like a shield or something, you know? But it's like when they strip those things down, it's like what they had to deal with outside. And they're stripping down at home. You know what I mean? And then it makes them cry. It was very moving. Like, it didn't say anything. And then they had like a Langston Hughes, I think it was, poem playing, like a child was like reciting certain parts of it. If I were to die, and it was about how they didn't want to die like their dogs, and it was basically a poem he had written after watching a riot that had happened back in the day. So I have to get that for you guys. I'm gonna let y'all know what poem it is. Sorry, but it was very moving. Very moving exhibit. Second one was the Frederick Douglass exhibit. Now, this one was unique because they had set it up with 10 different screens in this other big room. And it was like a video project. And each screen was different sized, and it had different perspectives of the same thing going. So it's like if Frederick Douglass was on a mountaintop, you would see him on the mountaintop in the middle one, and then you would see, like, something else in the distance, some other trees, some other thing, and it was, like, painting the scene for you, but it was, like, all different perspectives, and, like, you were zoomed in at some points, you were not zoomed in, and it was basically, they took, like, they had actors and actresses dress up, and they had taken excerpts of his book, and the fact that he was an orator and different things that he had went and done for all the speaking engagements he had done about how horrible slavery was, because he was actually, you know, God had blessed him with intellect. And so he couldn't be like, he had said in one of his speeches that he wished he could just be like the regular slaves and just like take his life like this. But it bothered him so much. He constantly thought about it and how unjust it was. And then the juxtaposition of all the stuff they had done, they had used his speeches. They had the actors dress up and do the different things and have his different speeches there, and then they set up the different scenes. It was really very interesting. Like, we sat there and watched the whole thing because we didn't come in at the beginning, but we sat there and we made sure we watched the whole thing until the point where we had already come in. And I just was like, I really was impressed by doing a project like that. And they incorporated art too, because he had done a speech about pictures, and he had done a photo project. And I just was like, it made me want to go read more about him. I have some small clips of it, and I have like some pictures I had taken. They had even like had his wife in there, showed his house. It was very interesting, moving, and there were certain parts that I was like, oh, I don't know all that stuff about his life, but I just thought it was great, and I really highly recommend, if you're listening to this, you have time, go see these exhibits before if you're an RVA. Go see them before they take them out, you know. With the 3 Men Weeping, I have no idea, because I knew that one was not staying that long. Okay. So I'll have to check if that one's still there. But the Frederick Douglass exhibit should still be there for the rest of the month. Yeah, and Storage Strings is there for until May, I think. So they do have a segment of just black strings. So I just was like, let's do Black History Month stuff, okay? Museum exhibits. You get to learn some art and, you know, feel inspired and remember our struggles and all that kind of stuff and be inspired, because I will say this last point, but what I liked is that the person who created the film project, he actually took scenes from Baltimore where he was, juxtaposed it to like scenes from the actual riots that took place after like certain killings in recent modern time. And it was just, and they kind of juxtapose it with him talking about fireworks and like how black people see the 4th of July as basically a hypocrisy. It's not freedom for them. You know what I mean? It was very well done. You just like, it was just ingenious. I love the way he did the project, because having the different screens and putting different things together to make like this video project on 10 different screens, it was great. I don't know. I just like that you felt like you were surrounded or submerged in the story because they had all these different scenes from these different perspectives. It was just cool, and I got really into it, y'all. Like, I'm gonna stop talking now.
Nah, sounds cool.
And the only other thing I'm still really blurting out when it comes to media is Naruto Shippuden. Like, I can't even get into how awesome that thing is. The story, Whitney, you really should watch, because the storylines and the emotion, it's the king of anime. I'm sorry, it is.
I'm gonna watch it at some point.
I know it's daunting, because my sister made me realize Naruto's been on for like 20 years, over 20 years. Damn. That's how much. That's why there's so much of it. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense for it to be like, oh my god, that's me. Like, I ain't getting into Grey's Anatomy because it's just too many. It's too many years. But I feel you. But it's like, I know you would love the story and the lessons, and the character of Naruto is just amazing. So I'm learning about that still, probably for the next few months till I finish the show. All right, back to you. No tagline. Take it away, please.
I don't know. Something you were saying about something reminded me of the, what do they call it? The National...
Geographic?
No.
National Lampoon?
Nope.
National Harbor? Just messing around.
What do they call it? The National Negro Anthem?
Oh. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Did you Google the lyrics?
Yep. Ring with the harmony.
You didn't even tell a chick.
Of liberty, let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Ooh, yeah. We only gonna do the one stanza, but I don't know. I was thinking about it. It's always been so powerful.
That song,
but it's like it's one of those like Negro spirituals, and
it's
a lot of
anthem. It's the black anthem,
and it's like the Negro spirituals have like such power behind them.
Wade in the water.
Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Yes! I remember that song hit me so much because, I did not know all this stuff because, again, my family don't come from here, so.
Girl, even people who do come from here, they don't teach you.
No, I mean when I was a kid. I'm talking about when I was a kid.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the National Black Anthem because, I was talking.
Oh, no, I heard that in school. So I heard it in school. I just didn't know it was the National Black Anthem. I just heard it in school.
Yeah.
But I remember that song. I had heard my teacher, my 5th grade teacher, did a Blacks and Wax. No, she did like a soul food get together for our class or something, and she invited her father to come and sing that song. And I didn't know much about any of this stuff because I don't have any history. My mom and them, they don't have that history, that stuff in their lexicon to know what really happened here, you know? And so I even love that she was so nice to me because she realized that, I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about Black history because my family's not from here.
I mean,
so she was
nice. Black history, but you...
Well, it was 5th grade. I'm 10 years old, and I just wasn't aware of stuff.
Black American history.
What they taught us. But like stories and food and all that kind of stuff, I didn't know none of it.
Speaking of, I wonder if I can put in a request to have for my birthday some apple soup.
I don't even think y'all can hear what she just said. I literally tell everybody this. Anyway, we're getting off topic. But just to wrap this thought up, and so we can move on to what you were going to say, what your blurt out, is that my 5th grade teacher, one I loved because she allowed my family to bring an African dish because she knew that I would not. I was like, man, I don't eat. She said, bring all these things. All of us bring food, and I was like, I don't eat any of this stuff at home. I didn't eat American food. I ate African food all the time. So I was like, I don't know anything. I've never had a sweet potato. I was like, my mom doesn't make mac and cheese. Growing up, we didn't eat mac and cheese. Not until I got a little bit older, or the Kraft stuff. You know, that Kraft box stuff. That's not real mac and cheese. Yeah, I didn't know that what it wasn't even. Anyway, but she allowed me to do that, and I loved her for that. Mix Blackstone, you're awesome. But what struck me was that her father came with his beautiful baritone voice. He came to our class, and he sang that song, and I was mesmerized. I will never forget. Song. No, not that one. The Wade in the Water.
It was a good time, though.
Oh, no, wait. He sang that one, and then he also says, way down Moses, way down in Egypt's land, tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Oh my God, he sang those two songs, and I was just blown away. One, the timbre of his voice just struck me. That's why I knew then I should be in music, because I loved it. But it was just like those songs, like, you're right about the power of them. You feel them as soon as my mom and then they know nothing about those songs, but
they reverberate in your soul.
Yes, and then my mom liked it because it said something about Moses, which is the Bible. But then she was like, "Wow, I like this style," and I was like, "Great, my mom and aunt are getting involved in African American stuff." Anyway, but to your point about that song, Tiffany. Amanda Seales, excuse me, she plays Tiffany on Insecure, but Amanda Seales did a special on not Netflix, HBO, and she sang that whole song with her audience. That one that we just sang, "Lift Every Voice," and
Lift
she
Every
knew
Voice
all
and
the
Sing.
words. She was like, "You know, you ain't black unless you knew all the words." So you're right. It was hilarious. So I just love that we have like a shared. Black people just be knowing ourselves. You know what I mean? And again, they're still overdoing it online. It's so much fun. All right, continue. Go ahead, Whitney. Just blurt out. Just blurt.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because you brought the song up, so I was like, what happened?
I mean, that's always a blurred out worthy song. But, you know, with it being Black History Month, I was just thinking about how powerful that song is. And songs like that. But yeah, it's just really powerful. But my I didn't have a lot of time to think about my blurred out. But so I'm blurting out about what Bola blurted out about last episode.
Tell him, girl.
The bear.
The bear.
Oh my God.
The bear.
When Bola was talking about it, I don't even know what it was that made me decide that, let me check this out. But I don't know, something about the way you talked about it, I was like, let me just check it out. And, you know, it's like 8 episodes, so it's like, you know, it's not daunting. It's like, I can do this. And I, like, powered through all of it. It was so compelling.
Yes. That's the best. Awesome word, Whitney. Thank you. That show compels you to keep going.
I did. I couldn't think of the word before. I finally hit on it.
Yeah, but we were trying to think, because I called it potent. Because it was like, it came on so strong from the beginning.
And it didn't have any fluff. It was
gritty.
Yeah.
And it like grabbed you by the throat. You're like, you're going to watch this and you're going to watch the whole thing. And it was like, that whole kind of grab you by the throat thing, essence was in the whole show.
It made me think of when you said that, like, grabbed you. I was like, it made me think of, and I am telling you.
Yeah. Oh, no, don't sing. Continue with the blurt. Okay. No more singing.
And you're gonna love. Okay. But it did. But that's how it felt. It grabbed me like that. It was like Jennifer Hudson or Jennifer Lewis. Was it Lewis?
I don't know.
Who sang it originally? It was like singing that. Like, you're gonna love. It was like, you're gonna love me. You're gonna love. And that's how it felt.
You're gonna watch me.
Yes.
And you're gonna
love
complete
me.
it.
Because I loved it. I was like, dang.
By the end of it, I was like, man.
But like, not even by the end. Just like you said, like something about it from the beginning
it just struck you where you couldn't not
exactly
stop watching it. Yep.
Y'all need to watch it. The Bear on Hulu.
It got awards for a reason.
So good. I didn't
compelling.
realize that it had gotten awards, but I was just like, this is awesome.
It was very compelling. Yep.
Awesome.
All right. You blurting out about anything else with me?
I'm gonna leave it there.
All right. So we're gonna get into Quantumania now, guys. Whoop whoop.
Yep. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania. Now, you know what's so interesting? I was listening to something on the way because we just came back from watching it, y'all.
Yeah.
We watched it opening night. Hey, points for us. We true blerds. We true Marvel blerds. Anyway. So we watched it on the way, and I was listening to a video to just like, because usually with the Marvel movies, I always like to like listen and like watch other things.
You like some background. You like some research material.
We do, because there are people that like go heavy and are in, and they read the comics, and I unfortunately have not.
So much stuff they tie in that you kind of got. You don't have to, but you get more out of it when people talk about like the Easter eggs and the things you know about these other characters.
It helps you understand too. So it's like Marvel's very dense, very dense world, very rich, And so let's say rich. So there's a plethora of storylines and things, and it's like, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of heavy too. Like it's a lot. It's just the breadth of it is really massive. So the story can just expand, and then what they do with it on the visual in the movies is just really amazing. Honestly, I'm impressed every time I see a Marvel movie.
I was thinking about that too when we were talking. I don't know if it was on mic or was before we started recording, but we were talking about like Marvel versus DC, how we're Marvel girls, and I'm like, I look at this, and I think the thing that Marvel does so well that sets them apart. These are superhero movies, but they like pretty much almost always make it about something human.
Oh yeah, otherwise it's not going to
because it's something compelling. It's because like Scott's all about, he's like protecting his daughter. He's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes, protect my daughter, protect my family. Hope came back to save Scott.
I know. Oh man,
and I was just like, that's the thing that makes it great. And the thing about like for me, the DC movies, just to compare and contrast, what makes Marvel more successful is it's very spectacle heavy, but not so much on the heart.
Yeah.
The heart or the underlying themes aren't as present in the DC stuff. It's like, here's some cool fight scenes and large spectacles and it looks awesome, but it's like
the message is
it's like empty calories.
Yeah.
But like Marvel, they make sure
DC's like a Twinkie. Marvel is like a steak dinner. Does that analogy work for you guys?
I mean, it works.
You said empty calories.
But like they always have something that you can connect with. Like they aren't just like these superheroes just blowing things out of the air, even though they're doing that. But it's like, no, it's about family.
And they achieve the balance well, because it's like to get these action comedies. I remember listening on the radio where people are like, it was the same podcast. They were talking about how they started off their podcast, the same guys off Black Man Can't Jump in Hollywood. They were saying how comedies, just straight up comedies that used to be like the blockbusters of back in the day, like in the 90s and the early 2000s. Comedies were the blockbusters. Action films were like, okay, but it's because they were like just action stories, and but then you try to combine them together now, and it's like it's formulaic how much you can mess it. Like you have to achieve the right balance. Putting these things together is formulaic, where it can work, where the comedy comes in, the romance comes in, the action comes in, the building of the story. Not only that, but then it's also the what's the word? The transmedia component. You're making sure this story melds in with another story that you're going to start later, or you're going to show later. It's great work. I don't know if you guys understand this, but it's very, very difficult to get right. And Marvel, I don't know how, but they constantly get it right. I mean, I've seen more getting it right than not. Right. In their, I'm sorry, they got way more pluses. Even the ones that people are not so happy with, like Thor 4. It's not a bad movie. It's better than Black Adam. I'm sorry. I'd watch Thor 4 all day over Black Adam or any other thing that they have produced besides Wonder Woman 1 and 2. I loved both of those. So to me, it's like they get that. Like this film had that nice balance. And I just was, I was laughing. I was like, what the heck is this? And I was amazed. And I was
about the characters because like, you know, and you can identify with their motivations.
Yes.
Because it's like, it's about family. It's about like,
it's about saving the world. It's about fighting for
I like
freedom.
how they tied in. I think his daughter's name is Cassie. Like her being like this, the Generation fighter. X or whatever. Yeah, like the
Gen
next
Z.
Gen Z.
She's probably Gen
who
Z.
are like you know, all about like the activism, like we got to do something. And it's like, I like that. It's like, she's like, you can't just sit by and just watch it. She's like, no, I'm going to be active. I am actually going to like do something about what I see going on. And I like that. And it's like, I like how Scott's like, okay, no, like I like this energy, but I'm gonna need you to sit down because you're gonna get hurt or something. And it's like, you understand that, like you're like, I understand Cassie, that's awesome, but you understand Scott because she's like, he's her father. He's like, I want you to be safe, and you identify with these characters. Yeah,
and I believe I heard that Paul Rudd said him being a dad, it helped him with this particular film because. This was the first one where it was like he was in dad mode. Because before, you know, the other times it's like he's just him really. He cares about his daughter, but his daughter's not in jeopardy or anything.
I mean, so he was when, what's his name?
In the last bit, like the ending of Ant-Man 1. Yeah. His daughter being in jeopardy was the main issue. Right. But it was like the climax part. But it's not the main thing. For him, it was always like saving the world, fighting crime, fighting evil. But this time it was like, I am not going to let you hurt my daughter. Right. You know, he was like, this movie was about, and she's joining the fight too. So it had higher stakes for him. So he had to make choices because he's like, oh no, I will do this bad thing that I know I shouldn't do because you're not going to hurt my daughter. Right. You're going to give me my daughter. You know, I like that he said he was able to put him being a father into the role. And I thought that was cool. But let's get into first impressions of the film. That was our little opener. That kind of was first impressions, but I liked the film a lot. It was a very good watch. It was. This would satisfy all the sci-fi nerds out there. Like, this is a pure, like, sci-fi, crazy creatures. It was. I got movie. So many Star Wars vibes. Yeah. I'm like, y'all. I know. Come on now, y'all. Sci-fi. That's why I said sci-fi. But more like, than superhero. But I mean, there's lots of stuff that's sci-fi. But I got a whole lot of Star Wars vibes. Like when they went into like the kind of bar-looking place and the people with the hoods with the eyes. I'm like, come on now, come on now. Like, I didn't think they were doing too much. It's just they had to wear hoods. Not necessarily too much, but I saw like a lot of similarity. Okay. What you trying to say? Well, they all owned by Disney. I mean, they're under the House of Mouse now, so I guess it's okay. That's what I said. They're all owned by Disney now. So but it was just like I was like side eyeing, kind of like, this is very, very. Well, now that they're both owned by Disney, Disney's like, y'all can be influenced by each other. Yeah, but like my first impression was like that funny Scott walking down the street, like voiceovering himself. Just the nice humor. Like what I liked most about Ant-Man was that his story has so much humor in it, and that it was like natural for his character to be like that. I felt like where they tried it with Thor, but they didn't establish Thor in that humor. Which is like why the third film was great because they actually brought that in, but it wasn't there from the beginning, right? You know, exactly. As opposed to Ant-Man. Ant-Man was funny from the get. It was like he was just like crazy. You're just like, come on, like, man. He's the underdog. He's like, I'm the hero that everyone forgets my name or mixes like, me up with Spider-Man. He's like, oh, you're the other bug. You're the other bug. I was like, and then when he was like, you're the other one, he's like, now his meal isn't free anymore. He's like, I thought you were Spider-Man. Your meal is free, Spider-Man. But as Ant-Man, nah, you got to pay this $12. So he was saying, I love that he talked about this book. He was listening to his own audio book. I know. Like all throughout, they're like, oh, did you write a book, Scott? Because they were talking about it with the baby, his family so much. I just love that they went back to that whole thing. Like, and here I found myself being a baby. It's like, how did the Hulk get me to be a baby? It was hilarious. I was like, I'm glad they addressed this. It was nicely, and I love the whole montage of what our girl Wasp was doing, what Hope was doing. Her parents, everybody just being a little happy family after the blip. I know, I really after like the that. Saving of everyone. You know, and I just love it. It cemented something. It's going back to how Marvel makes it about not just like the superheroing. It's like the superheroing is for something else. The reason like Ant-Man, Wasp, Hank, what's Michelle Pfeiffer's character's name? Oh, Janet. Sorry, that made me think of like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Damn it. Janet. Okay. But
it's like that scene kind of establishes this is a movie about family. And I like that. They like you know what you're not what you're getting, but you know what the stakes are.
Yeah. So it's like, it's saving the family. And so this was like a nice little romp. It's a romp. I'm not gonna lie. It's a romp into the quantum realm, like, because they just take you all sorts of. You're like, now there's other people down here. What the heck? You was thinking Janet was all alone with all these little microorganisms trying to kill her and shit, and you're just like, but there's other people here. Okay.
Can we talk for a second about? I had to look up because I couldn't remember if they ever said her name. I guess they did. Gentora.
Oh, is that what her name was?
I had to look it up. Like I said, I had to go to IMDb because I'm like, did they say her
ripped.
name? She was swole.
I was like,
damn.
I was like, this chick works out.
I
thought she was a man for a second. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to be mean. I literally thought she was a man for a second.
I never thought she was a man, but I'm like, damn, she is swole.
I was like, damn. Are you sure? Anyway, she got
but
that
I also really
tummy.
liked, and again, I had to look it up on IMDb to know what his name was because I'm like, did they say it during the movie? I don't know.
Okay,
Quaz.
Who's that? Oh, the black dude.
The black dude who could read minds.
Yeah,
he was hilarious.
I even like the little jelly guy that apparently everyone was drinking his ooze to become so that he could hear
Understand.
the language.
Yeah.
That was actually a funny.
And you know what?
Practical thing to add.
That reminds me of another thing that Marvel is excellent at making these really awesome side characters. I mean, even though this was, it's kind of mostly about Scott
and Scott.
Ant-Man. I mean, it's Ant-Man and the Wasp again, but more so focused on Ant-Man. I mean,
and Kang.
Yeah, and Kang. But, like, I love how throughout these Marvel movies, you have these really great side characters, even if it's not an ensemble movie, but they just, like, stand out really well.
Yeah.
And, like,
I have holes.
Quaz and Gentora and, like, the jelly dude.
Thing. He was like, I have holes now.
Yes,
like,
that was hilarious. Because he was always asking people, he was like this alien-looking thing that was like a blob. And he's like, can I ask you about your holes? It's like, I don't have any. How many holes do you have? And then
no, it was crazy.
The psychic dude's like 7. And then
crazy.
Scott gets this look on his face. He's like, yeah, that's right. And I was like, I had to count too. I'm like,
Me too.
that is right.
I was like, are we talking about, technically, your eyes can be holes too, but whatever. Stuff comes out of it?
I wouldn't say necessarily a hole.
All right. I mean, when the eye's gone,
nostrils, mouth, ears, booty hole, and front hole, which I guess in a woman's case, maybe we have 8. Yeah. So we have 8. Scott had 7.
Yeah.
But it was funny because he was like, as that look came over Scott's face, I was also counting in my head. But
I was wondering if they counted the eyes. But
no, because based off of the count, no.
Anyway, let's get to the point. But honestly, first impression, it was like a really fun, like sci-fi romp to me to watch, and I thought it was like a solid film.
And it was a good first movie for Phase 5.
Yes, it was a nice starter. It was a good, nice entry, starting off strong. And I got to see my Kang. Oh Lord Jesus! Ooh, child, things are gonna get sexier. Let's talk about what did we like about the film? Let's talk about likes.
There's so many. I mean, to be honest, I
think we did.
It's hard for me. Yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff.
I didn't dislike anything.
I can't think of anything I disliked. I mean, it's not gonna. We haven't gotten to the rating parts. It's not gonna get a 10 for me. But I can't. There's nothing I disliked.
Yeah. There wasn't anything I disliked. This is something that my main issue with certain Marvel films is that I have questions after them, and I'm like, more questions. But then I know that the story is not finished because they're all connected to other stories. But there are some discrepancies that I was like, wait a minute, you have to go back and look. The video I listened to helped me see it too, because again, Janet was acting funny the whole film in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, Janet, but you never saw her act that way in the other films. She just came back and she came back. I mean, she saw the stuff that in the last Avengers movies and stuff. She didn't have a problem with them trying to go to the quantum realm to do stuff before. Why didn't she try to stop Scott then? Why is it that now, in this movie, there's just a discrepancy that I saw that I was like, y'all should have had some continuity with that, where she was not so, she was more vocal. Remember when they were doing stuff and then they were trying to go into the quantum realm again, and it was Scott but not her, and she didn't have anything to say. And then Cassie was trying to do a signal, and now she has something to say. So I was like, why all of a sudden did they do that? You know, I don't know.
Well,
I just felt like they could have had that be her issue from the beginning.
But she came back in the second one.
Not the second Ant-Man movie. I'm talking about the Avengers movie. Endgame. Or not Endgame. Infinity War. At the end of that, remember they were doing stuff? That's why
I remember.
Mm-hmm. So I guess I wanted to see that I wanted to see earlier that she had these issues with the quantum realm about like, hey, let's just stop anything to do with it. You know, because it's like all of a sudden, this film, she's all, you know, I'm not talking about it. We're not going there. Nobody's going there. But then they were doing those experiments, and she and Mike Scott going there.
I feel like there was maybe a difference between where they were going, maybe. Because remember, like, they were doing the experiments together. She was in the know, so I guess she could make sure they weren't going to where, like, whatever part of the realm that Kang inhabited. Whereas, like, this one, you know, they didn't say anything, and then she was like, wait a minute.
Y'all sending a signal down there?
Y'all cut it off right now. Right now.
I don't know. I guess they could have done that because I was just like, why is she? But it's a good way to start getting into the story about there's actually more going down there than you think. Mm-hmm. Also, I wasn't sure whether or not this was the Kang from Loki, but then the Kang from Loki got murked, so of course not. But I was
he who remains is dead.
Yeah. So Kang the Conqueror, I guess,
is a different variant.
Well, we actually don't know what happened to Kang after they had defeated him and sucked him into this thing.
We watched a video right before here that, like, kind of like, Bola was like, this blew my mind.
Yeah, is there something beyond the quantum realm like that?
No, that's not the part you were talking about. We'll put it in the show notes, by the way, you guys. But, like, when she was talking about, like, the like evil variants, and you're wait a minute, was Kang a good variant? And that's kind of the musing that Scott was having at the very end of the movie. He was like, wait a minute. He said that something worse was coming. Mm-hmm. Did I just, like, screw everything up? He was like, nah, it'll probably be fine. Mm-hmm. But it's like, maybe Kang he wasn't the good variant, but maybe relatively so compared to the other ones. Because he was trying to prevent his other ones from doing more damage to, like, the multiverse, which he just didn't care who or how many people or other universes he destroyed to prevent them from doing that. But I feel like that was kind of almost like a Thanos mindset. Like, for the greater good, I'm going to kill all these people. But so by that mindset, comparatively, maybe he's a little bit better than the other ones that we saw in the Easter egg at the end.
You know what? Because I was like, Kang was destructive in this one.
He was
showing off in this one. I was like, okay, we know you got guns for days, but you over here trying to destroy everybody. Like, chill out.
He was, but I mean, you did see that, like, the other Kangs had, like, a whole army of Kangs. Yeah. So I was like, I guess he was like, I'm gonna need this army because they put me here.
Y'all need to stay in the theater and watch both scenes because both scenes. All I know is the second scene to me, and spoiler, I don't care, spoiler. The second scene to me just shows that Kang is coming back in the Loki series. That's what it means. Because Loki and, what's his name again? Owen
Wilson? Oh, I don't remember what his character's name is.
Was it something Dunbar?
I don't know, girl.
Morbius. Mobius? Okay. Mobius? Maybe Mobius. Because Morbius was that crap film.
I watched that. I was like,
who made that? I don't think Marvel made that.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It's not part of the MCU, is it?
No, I don't believe so. I think it was a Fox one, maybe.
Okay, it wasn't good. That's why it wasn't good.
Well, Fox before the merger, because now Fox is part of Disney. Yeah, Disney bought. That's why they have the X-Men and stuff now. Because before the X-Men movie and stuff making rights were under Fox. So when Fox, like, sold their properties, that's why now Disney can actually make, not Disney, why the MCU can have the X-Men in it, where they couldn't before.
Gotcha.
And just like, we've had Spider-Man, but that's because Sony made a deal with Marvel or whatnot, because they sold their rights to Spider-Man a while ago. So that's also why there's, like, the separate movies, because he's not part of the MCU, except for he is, but only because they had a deal going for him to be in the MCU. But it's like it gets a little complicated. They still
sorry,
don't have
guys,
the
I know
rights
it's
to
kinda
Hulk,
boring.
and I forget who has the rights to Hulk because they can't make it a solo Hulk movie. They can have him in because similar to Spider-Man, they sold the rights for movies.
I really like the Hulk film, even though it had Edward Norton in it, and I would love, and I prefer the Ruffalo Hulk. I really liked the Hulk film from the beginning.
I did too.
And he was the first one, actually. He was before Iron Man, actually. So
there was that other one with what's his name?
Iron Man started off the MCU, but it was like...
Oh, no, I was saying that there was another Hulk before that. The one with what's his name?
I didn't count that one. I didn't watch it. I never watched that one. I heard it was bad. Anyway, back to this film. My main other thing is like I know I can't be using something you have to suspend with disbelief, or is it belief? I still never know what the right word for that phrase is.
Suspend
with your disbelief.
Yeah, suspend disbelief.
Disbelief. So yeah, that's what it is. Suspend disbelief and be like, okay. But my issue was, so humanoids people exist in the quantum realm, like. Why are they like bigger humans? Like, I just was like, how are they down here? I would have loved if it was just all these weird creature looking things, but they had human being looking things down there, and I just had an issue with that. I was just like, why are there like people down here and not just like human, like just alien looking people? Like, I don't know. I just thought it was weird. I was like, how is this happening? You know?
I mean, well, the quantum realm is like a like you can get to other time. I mean, that's how they did the time thing.
I know, but it's supposed to be a subatomic level. So it's like, how can human beings, the human form, even like live? I'm applying some reality to this.
The whole freaking Pym and Lang family was like down there.
But they came from the regular big world. You're talking about the tiny, tiny microscopic world. How are there other humans down there that don't,
But they said it's more like almost like its own like another multiverse.
Okay.
So they got there by shrinking down, but it's like it's its own multiverse. So
I just have to leave it alone and not go too much because otherwise I'd be like, how is this? Anyway.
I think it's going to get very sciencey.
Yeah, and I'm not
or
that
science
best at that because there is a lot of science in the MCU actually. Anyway, other things I thought were interesting. Darren coming back.
Oh my God, I was just about to talk about MODOK.
Oh gosh,
I gotta look up. What is it?
I think it was Darren.
No, I was trying to think of what it stands for.
It's
mechanized organism. Is it dedicated?
Dedicated
only to killing.
Oh, mechanized or MODOK. Mechanized or machine. Oh no, machine only. Dedicated to instructing to kill, instructing for killing. I don't know, but I was like, this dude came back from Ant-Man 1, all to have his face extra super stretched, like somebody did too much with the editing tool on a picture. That's how his face looked to me. Somebody like went a little too far on the expanding the picture. You know how you're trying to edit the picture and you overstretch it? That's how his face looked to me.
I love Cassie's interaction with him after she beat him down. Mm-hmm. And he's like, dude, this isn't done. And she was like, dude, just stop all this.
Yes.
And he was like, what? She was like, stop being a dick. He was like, look at me. I'm such a dick.
Exactly. He provided some much needed comedy, which I thought was hilarious. It's just, you have to get over his body because it's really odd guy. He's like a big ass face,
and I love like
some small ass legs, and
they do such a great job in each of the Ant-Man movies with like the incorporation of the humor because like he was like, at least I died in Avenger, and they're all kind of side eye each other like not really. Sure.
His scene ended his life nice, but it was just like. It was hilarious what happened. And I was like, y'all are doing too much. I loved Kang's outfit. Can I say that?
Oh, yeah.
Kang the Conqueror's suit, besides just the body underneath.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, let me not go there. I need to calm down. But the suit itself, first of all, I was getting like Lego vibes. Like something about his suit, like looked like a Legos put together. I don't know what. Just the way, I couldn't find a word for how it looked. Like, the costume design was just really beautiful to me. There's some quality about it, or some fabric they used. It made it look like building blocks put it together. I don't know, but it just was, I really loved it. I loved the colors, and he was scary. he was fighting. I loved his fighting style. He was just visceral. That's just the word for him. Kang was doing things. Y'all. Kang was doing things. But I really liked him as the villain here because he really was.
He was. Jonathan Majors made a great villain.
And then what I didn't like was that when they saw the back scenes of him and Janet together, he really was trying to make himself seem like he was the good guy, and he really came off vulnerable. That's one thing. Jonathan Majors acting, I don't know, he just made himself look like he wasn't a bad guy.
I wonder, but I think in his mind, he's not the bad guy, though.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm trying to prevent something worse from happening.
He was just trying to win. That's what it was all about.
He did
all I do is win, no matter what. That was him. That was him. He was like, I'm going to win. That's it. I wonder what he did to banish that. They banished him to the quantum realm
because he was that. I guess because he was just that powerful. They're like, okay, he's a little too strong. Like the only thing we can do is like kick him out here because we don't want him like rolling over us.
So now I know. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure about the timelines because Loki was like nobody knows. I don't know where in the timeline Loki's happening, but if she met Kang, you don't even know when, back in the day. So it was like, they must have been fighting for eons or centuries or outside of time or something.
Yeah, because the quantum realm is like outside of time.
Yeah, so it's like, I was trying to think like, so when did this Kang get over here? I just was like, let me not mess up my brain.
Yeah, don't try to like twist your brain around it because I think with all the multiverse and the time stuff, it's like watching that movie Somewhere in Time where it's like, where did the watch come from?
Yeah.
Because it's like, he gave it
chicken and the egg
to himself. Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, where did it originally come? And then you're just going to break your brain.
Although, I already know, the chicken came first. Let's just be real. The chicken came first, y'all. Let's be real. Anyway, we talk about that later. What else did you like about this film? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm bringing up Naruto again, but I swear, when he was splitting up in the little realm of probability, I was just thinking of Naruto because Naruto has this thing where he does shadow clones. So he can make like a lot of shadow clones, which nobody else in the ninja world can do. He can make like thousands, hundreds. He can make so many of himself and they'll be fighting. And I was just like, oh my God, shadow clone. Anybody who likes Naruto, you hit me up. Y'all know what I was talking about, right? As soon as it's split, you're just like, shadow clone jutsu. But I just love seeing, like, he was just splitting, and then he just went over the board. I was like, dang, there's like a ton of it.
I love how, like, this was kind of like getting into almost like Wanda from Multiverse of Madness.
I was thinking of Doctor Strange. I was like, some of this is Doctor Strange-esque to me,
when he, like, tried to touch the thing, one of the clones tried to touch the thing, and was like, I was like, oh!
Yeah, it was like a lot. And I was like, ooh, this whole little thing was blowing my mind. I was definitely getting major Doctor Strange vibes in part of this film.
Yeah.
Even the walking down the street. I don't know why. I just expected in the scene, as he was walking and he was thinking about whether he did that thing and it was like, he was worrying and stuff. I was like, is the same thing gonna happen to him where like the universe just gets opened up by that blonde lady and like, Scott Lang, come with me, you know? I was not gonna lie, I was expecting something so bad, but I love that it didn't happen in the end.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting something too. I was like, oh.
Anyway, but the fight, let's get to the fight. For Kang does what he does. He was taking over, even in the quantum realm, he made like a whole little world and then subjugated folks and made them all pissed off.
He didn't make, wait.
Yeah, he subjugated all those people, killed people off.
Well, I was saying
like,
he didn't make the world. He kind of made like
he built up the world.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
He built his own little empire in there because it wasn't there.
Yeah.
It wasn't until he used all the advanced technology.
You know what? I just thought about something when you were talking about the Janet Van Dyne thing. The ants. The ants ended up somewhere different because they were there for hundreds or thousands of years. So they weren't in wherever Kang was. So maybe wherever they were exploring in right before like Infinity War was like a zone that was not where Kang was. So that's why she was like, fine, as long as I'm here, I can make sure they don't go where they shouldn't. Yeah. But if they try to go without me, I can't control where they're going to go poking around.
Yeah, and I guess that's why she was. I'm assuming that she, as much as I thought Kang, it's just he was controlling the whole place. Like, why wouldn't he be able to find her? But I guess she must have found a little segment outside of where everyone else was to stay while she was still down there because apparently Kang was looking for her for the whole time. He's like, no, you're going to undo this. And she was like, you got to catch me. Yeah. You know, I love that.
Catch
She was
me
like,
if you
can't catch me.
Can't touch this.
I know, right? And so he was mad. Like, Kang, throughout this whole film, I was just like, Kang was like serving looks. He was just like, and I mean like his face. He was just mad. And then he had that little one fake thug tear that came down. I was like, Kang, now you know better. Why are you crying right now? I like the complexity of him. He's really bad, but he be trying to act like he's good. And then he's like, but I feel like he's powerful and confident.
Yeah.
And strong, and I love that.
I like he's like kind of a more a dynamic villain, like
very dynamic to me.
Very similar to Thanos, because I feel like he's another one who doesn't see himself as the villain, or maybe he can see how people can see him as a villain, but Thanos could too. But he's like, no, I'm the lesser evil. I'm trying to prevent something bigger. So he's like, I'm not the bad. I feel like he felt like he wasn't the bad guy.
Yeah, all these types, they always think they're doing something great. He's like, chill out. You just want to take over the world, but chill out. You got the little megalomaniac ass. Sit down. You know what I mean? Like, stop it. Stop. What else could we say? I loved
how they stood up to him at the end.
I loved how they,
because I'm like, did you not see how he just blasted like swaths of people into oblivion, and y'all three just gonna stand there? I'm like, y'all got balls.
Casey, I love what Cassie did, like encouraging people to fight. That's what I loved, like her little feisty spirit. I love that she's like, I don't have no plan.
I love her character. She's a newer character for us, but I love it. I love her.
I really hope to see her more. I like how she inspired everybody to fight. She went down there. She got all the people she met from the earlier.
She's like, if I mess something up, I'm gonna fix what I messed up. I like that.
I also liked I liked that Hank was like flying the plane, but it was like little mechanisms.
Oh yeah, that was
cool. They look like gummy worms, and I felt like at first I was disgusted because I was like, "Oh, this is weird," and then I was like, "Wait a minute." I think I would like touching that thing. I love anything gelatinous. Yeah. I like anything gummy. I was like,
can we talk about how much Hank ended up being it wasn't
badass.
necessarily Hank exactly.
It was the ants.
He was just that he liked ants so much, so the ants, I guess, liked him.
Liked him too. Like,
but the ants were like badass. They were like, who run this?
We
ants.
Run this, right?
Yes.
The ants were like, we gonna... honestly, the ants really took him down.
They did. They all would have been screwed if it weren't for them ants.
I just wonder how he got out of the ant, like, what was that, ant bank? I don't know. What do we call that? Because they were banking his tail. I don't know what they call that. Ant bang? I don't know. But I just wonder how he got out of there, because when they were about to go home and they had opened the portal and everyone thought they defeated Kang, that man came back up.
Out of nowhere, because at first when they were going, I thought he was going to pop up then, and then they were like all going through. I'm like, oh, they did it, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom! It's like, nah, man.
Kane's like, I'm gonna really show you stuff, and this is where I was like, my heart. I literally felt like pain watching that fight because you could see.
Scott got the snot beat out of him.
He was so outgunned, literally.
He was. But that's like another thing that makes you like him so much, because he's like, no, I know I'm outgunned, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep going. He was like, I'm going to keep going. That's what I do.
I liked it a lot. I love Scott Lang, the character.
I do
funny,
too.
Amazing, has a lot of heart and drive. He's a fighter, actually. He was like, I'm going to do what I need to do. He's a little thief and everything, but he's like, I'm going to do what I need to do. And I like that he stood up to him. Even though you could feel like when he first encountered Kang, he was like, "You're scary. You're not good. I'm getting Thanos vibes." But he was like, "I'm still going." But because of his love of his daughter, he was like, "I'm still going to stand up and fight." And even in the end, he was like, "You are not getting through that portal," because Kang was about to get out. He was like, "I'm out here too."
He was like, "Nope, you don't."
He was like, "We're both going to stay here."
He was like, "You think you can win?" He was like, "I don't have to win. I just have to make sure that we both lose."
Exactly.
I was like, yeah, Scott.
But Scott, you got your ass beat, man.
Yeah,
you really did. You got your ass beat. Kang was stomping you. Then broke the mask, everything. You just got hit in your chest. You do it better.
You just got kicked in your chest. You were talking that good shit a little while ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, Whitney. Talking about Boondocks. Bravo.
Oh man, I love that show. That's such a funny show.
I don't know what else to mention, because there were so many fun things. It's a really good watch. I really love this. It's a great start. to the MCU. I can't wait for the next film.
Very strong start.
Things that are coming up. The Marvels are coming up.
The Marvels. I am so looking forward to seeing, is it Monica?
Miss Marvels. Are you talking about Kamala?
No. I'm trying
Monica
to think.
Rambeau. Yeah, Monica Rambeau.
Because I sometimes get, okay, her mom is Maria. Mm-hmm. Okay, I was just making sure I had the right because they both have M names. But like, I was so standing for Monica in WandaVision, so I am so excited to see her. And Kamala, actually, I love that series so much.
So I'm excited for the new stuff's coming up. This film also has some nice cameos. I like Randall Park's character came back in.
Yeah, I love him.
Just for a second. So they finally had lunch together, which was cool. Because he kept saying, he just needs a friend. He just want to go to lunch with somebody. I feel him. And I was like, Scott finally went to have lunch with him. So I love all the little jokes that they went back to in the opening scenes, and then even in the ending, they're like the cake and how his boss was like trying to make cakes and the cake was bad. You're just like
I haven't made a cake since '97, and it's like, oh man,
you shouldn't be making cakes at all.
You shouldn't, dude.
He was like, this is awful. Anyway, but I don't know where Ant-Man's gonna go from here, but I'd love to see him pop up again, all of them, and Hope. Like before we go, Hope. Hope is this is the ride or die chick that everybody wants in their life. Ride or die chick, because Hope was safe. She was in there. She was like, I'm out here. She didn't even look like she had a lot of problems with her little probabilities. So she was like, I'm safe with my parents. She was waiting for Scott. Cassie's in. Scott didn't come out. And she was like, oh no. I ain't leaving my man. I'm not leaving my man.
Not my man.
If you mess with my man, I'm going to be the one to bring it to you. She went back.
She was a straight up G.
She was a ride or die, and I loved that. And she came back, and she was like, "No, take this. You're not gonna be." Oh my gosh, she came up, and honestly, he needed that because Scott. I thought Scott was about to die because Kane was working stomped. Him. Kane was working him, y'all, and he came in, and I just loved the resolution. I love that it was not just his strength; it was her strength. Both of them together.
It was family because, like, in order for them to come out on top like they did, it took all of them.
It took effort, and it was like they both came.
I mean, and not just like effort, but I love how it like still tied together the family theme. Like they could not have won if it weren't for all of them, because you had Hank with like. Because of his like love of the ants, and the ants came back and helped, and you had like Janet, like
all her knowledge of the quantum realm,
exactly, and then you had like Hope coming in like a G. Yeah. She saved him twice, like when he was down there, like trying to get the thing.
The secret sauce, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and then Cassie with like starting the like being the voice of the revolution.
Yeah,
it's like it took future. All of them.
I loved it. But her coming in as like a G, she risked like not going back home. And luckily Cassie was able like, no, I got this. And I was like, sweet, because I was like, they're stuck in the quantum realm.
I was like, man, yeah, I thought that was how it was going.
Ant-Man 4 to get them out of the quantum.
I mean, they probably weren't going to wait till Ant-Man 4. It probably would have been in like an Avengers movie or something that they came back.
I just thought like, oh my god, they're gonna be stuck in the quantum realm.
That's what I was thinking too, though.
Because I was like, the portal's gone. The portal's gone, and I don't know where that Kang went. I have no idea if he's dead. Well, I mean
the variants think he's dead. Said he's dead, but I'm like, do y'all know he's dead? Because like in that YouTube video we watched, it's like, is he dead or is he just like in another little a quantum of the quantum?
Yeah. And then I think Jonathan Majors had a great time dressing up as all those other Kangs. Like I felt like he had, because the way he was just acting crazy. I was just like a little black boy joy. I was looking at him. I was just I liked this Kang,
the Conqueror. I like Kang the Conqueror more so than He Who Remains.
He
Who Remains was very chill. Over the top.
He was just chill.
And but it was very. I like kind of that very chill. Not quite sinister, but it's very. He had so much confidence. He was like, "Nah, I'm winning."
He's like, "I'm going to tear y'all up."
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, "You will do." And I was mad because he didn't keep his word. I was like, "You guys should at least keep your word." You said trade off, but you weren't trying to trade nothing off from the beginning.
And I love how that was like one of the things that Scott was yelling as he's running through was like the supersized Ant-Man. He's like,
it's just great. And then this is how you do it. I'm sorry to say it for
Black
Adam. I'm sorry to say you just don't be popping him up and down like they did with Noah Centineo's character. And I was just like, what are you doing? Like, I was just like, you just are a bad Ant-Man. That's what I thought. You're a bad Ant-Man. That you were like Ant-Man and Spider-Man mixed together. And I was like, it's not working.
I feel like he was more like Ant-Man and Deadpool just because of the mask.
No, just the character, because he
character.
talked a lot.
Gotcha.
Sounded like Peter Parker to me.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so you're right. I understand. The mask made him look like Deadpool.
Deadpool.
So maybe all three. the character and the words definitely not. Anyway, so let's get to the rating. What do you give it, Whitney?
I give it a solid 8 glasses.
I was gonna say the same thing. I wanted to say 8.5, but I think 8 is good.
Yeah.
This is a solid film. Now, just because we didn't get a 10, I wouldn't say it's not that nothing was wrong with the film.
There was nothing wrong. It's just
it's not that caliber of like, oh yeah, this is a 10.
Right.
I don't have any recommendations for anything to improve it. This is just a regular solid film. 8 to me is a good number for like a solid film.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think it would need some kind of like bigger pull or bigger epicness. But the film was already on an epic scale. Like I said, if you're a lover of sci-fi, this is a real good film for you. Yeah, you're gonna love it. It's just stuff to look at everywhere. It's a lot. Film.
It's got a lot for me. Yeah, it's got a lot. It's got something for everyone. I would say pretty much.
So it's a pretty solid film. So I give it 8 too.
Yeah,
8 glasses. Hey, yeah. All right, y'all. So that is our review of
Ant-Man and the Wasp, the Quantumania.
And there's way more things we could talk about. Way more Easter eggs and all that kind of stuff. We didn't even catch all of them, so we're just gonna post them in the show notes so you guys can theorize yourselves.
Videos about people who go deeper than we go, or know more about the
people that go in. They know more. I watch that stuff, y'all. So don't. We ain't come here for that. We just gave our review. We enjoyed the film. Yes. I loved Kang the Conqueror, and I can't wait to see where he pop up because you know he's gonna pop up again.
Like with these other Kangs, I'm like, it's cool, but I really want to see the Conqueror come back.
Yeah,
because the looks of them were kind of cool, but I was like, I would really love to see Kang the Conqueror.
Well, maybe he will.
Maybe he will.
He might. I hope he does with his guns. All right, everybody, we're gonna leave now. But have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And remember, always blerd out. Bye. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe to our show on whatever podcast listening app you use and share the show with other Blerds and non-Blerds family and friends. And if you like this episode, please subscribe to our email newsletter at blerdtalkbw.ck.page and also rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts.
Intro and outro music is Twilight by Caption. You can find them on SoundCloud, username Caption spelled CAPSHUN. Show notes by Bola, Hanson, audio engineering by Whitney Booker.
And don't forget to get social, you guys. You can email us at blerdtalkbw@gmail.com. And our social media handles on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is at blerdtalkbw. And our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@blerdtalkbw. And we've got our individual things going on too. You can find the Triple F Queen on Instagram at Triple F Queen B as in boy. And my YouTube channel is youtube.com/@Triple F Queen B.
And you can find me, Whitney, at Luminabi Studios, my company. And the email address is wit@luminabi.com, spelled WHIT @LUMENABI.com. And you can also find me on Twitter at Luminabi Studios.